All right, I am back with a brand new DC update. And yes, things continue to get more awkward for James Gunn as the days go by. And no, I am not going to lay up and just lay off, or I'm not going to lay off of going after James Gunn. I'm not the only one that is noticing that everything is becoming the Gunn show. And that's exactly what it is. Even Grace Randolph, my favorite Twitter person, acknowledged that this is no longer about the DC characters, but it is about what James Gunn wants and what James Gunn is going to do. And it doesn't matter what the characters deserve or what the audience wants. It's what James Gunn wants. And we do have some photos to look at today. But I'm not going to lay off of the guy because he is doing a terrible job as the head of DC. And people are still going to come out and say he hasn't done anything yet. Yes, he has done some stuff. And his characters in those projects, some of them, are definitely going to carry over into the DCU. And it's just craziness that is going on out there right now. But we have some updates on some of the productions and some other things to look at. So let's just jump into these things here. Let's see. So this came out shortly after I posted my last video, and it said Patty Jenkins' take for her canceled Wonder Woman 3 with Gal Gadot was set in the present day of the DCEU after Justice League and her cameo in The Flash. It would have featured other DC characters, one of them being Ben Affleck's Batman. So again, we were denied Ben Affleck coming back as Batman. Like I said before, and I told everybody this, he was going to be back full-time as Batman. And that's where we were headed until the rug was pulled out from underneath us exactly around a year ago, right about now, a little bit later than now. And it's a shame because we were on the verge of greatness. Instead, we're getting the discount DC. On that note, we have Superman Legacy. It is confirmed that the filming is going to be delayed. A new DC Universe report confirms that Superman Legacy is getting its filming delayed, despite the Writers Guild of America strike being over. Why exactly is this? Because that's only a half of the puzzle. And I'm going to give you guys periodic updates on the union issue, but the actors are still striking and could trail into the video game segment of the industry very well, very soon, as a matter of fact. And what this means is the actors are still not going to be available. The only thing that can happen right now is they can write these stories, and I'm going to tell you right now, with all this extra time, these stories better be off the charts amazing. There will be no excuse for these cheesy, stupid movies if they have all this time to really refine these projects now. Because the actors are still expected to strike until sometime in January or February. That has not changed. The only way that is going to change is if the studios come to the table and actually agree to what the actors want. They did in the writer's case. So there is a possibility that could happen with the actors too, but the studios are going to be the ones to make that decision. Otherwise, these things are going to be delayed even further. Along with that story, it went on to say that Superman Legacy is facing a delay due to the Writers Guild of America and the SAG-AFTRA strikes, but the production is still targeting a 2024 start. Despite the delay, pre-production on aspects like sets and other key factors may have moved forward while casting news is still pending. The release date of July 2025 for Superman Legacy may still be feasible if production starts in spring of 2024 and wraps up within 6 months, allowing sufficient time for post-production. I don't think that's going to be sufficient time for post-production. I really don't. Not if they want to make it look decent. Again, I think we're going to get the discount DC coming up. We will see. It says, Deadline notes that Andy Muschietti's The Brave and the Bold can resume its production. James Gunn teases more DC news as the writer strike ends. This comes directly from James Gunn himself. I'm very happy with the outcome. The strike was a real wrench in the process, for sure. So I'll have to see where we are on everything for the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I'd imagine more news out in not too distant future. So we can expect more news to come from them soon. I still don't know how they have the money and who's investing in these individuals, but we will find out shortly. More Batman news. It says the Batman 2 script is resumed again, slated for an October 3rd, 2025 release. So we are still 2 years out from this. They can resume the writing, but the filming will probably begin, I'm guessing, sometime in the next 6 months. But we will find out. So let's talk about a few other things that I didn't have a chance to screen grab to show you guys. First of all, James Gunn made the comment, and I forgot about this in my last video, but he made the comment that, with this new DCU, that it is a complete reboot. But then he goes on in that same conversation to say that they will be keeping some actors from the DCEU and bring some of them over into the DCU, and that some of the events of the DCEU will also have occurred in the DCU. And that it's normal for people to be confused by the DCU. Do you really think that's a good way to start a franchise? They already had everything in place. Had Gunn never been hired, and had they just followed through with what they were going to do after Black Adam, we wouldn't be where we are today. And it's really sad to see this happening. As I said, Grace Randolph has picked up on this too, and other people are starting to notice that it's all about Gunn. It's about what he wants, what he's doing. You don't hear anything about Safran. You don't hear anything about Zaslav. All we know is that the company is bleeding money, that they're not making any money. They're still bleeding money, losing money all the time. The strike is continuing. That they plan on setting up that big studio in Europe, and yet they don't have money, and I don't know who the investors are. Like, who would be stupid enough to invest in this? Like, seriously, it's really bad. And I saw somebody put this into an interesting perspective the other day. They said, think about the chain of reaction, or the chain reaction that caused this to happen. That James Gunn got fired from Disney only to be bringing him back to finish off Guardians of the Galaxy, only to get rid of him to bring him over to the DC. So because of his tweets, that's what ultimately led him here to the DC universe. And I, for one, don't want him in charge of the DCU, and I don't think a lot of people do. It's not what anybody asked for. It's what Gunn wants to do. It's all about his weird, goofy stuff. And I am not looking forward to it. If it's good, I will admit it's good. Like I've said before, I can distance myself from my own personal feelings versus what somebody else, what the studio is behind it or the people behind it. I can actually review something for its value on its own without all the baggage. May not seem, you may not believe that, but it's true. If you go back and watch any of the reviews that I've done, I absolutely can distance myself from the companies behind these productions and who might be involved. But it's not looking good. As the days go by, things look worse and worse. I still have my Continental review coming up. I haven't forgotten I've got a massive TV show and movie update to do. Hopefully I will have a chance to do that stuff here tomorrow. But I did want to get this video up. I do appreciate all of the support. We will see you guys on the next video.